Good morning. I'm Chief Warrant Officer Beth Slade, the commanding officer at the premier lifeboat station Yaquina Bay here in Newport, Oregon. We're excited to showcase our station and highlight some of the training and the unique missions that we do here on the Oregon coast.
All right, guys, we are here at Coast Guard Station Yaquina Bay in Newport, Oregon. Got here to come check out a very popular surf station here. Gets really rough seas. This is where they train. And they're gonna take us out today on their 47 MLB. And we brought the weather with us. It's calm for over 20-foot seas. We'll see if we can get out, and if we can, it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna get some great footage and really looking forward to sharing it with you guys. On the coast of Oregon, better known as the Graveyard of the Pacific, the U.S. Coast Guard runs one of the toughest schools, Motor Lifeboat School in Cape Disappointment, where the Columbia River meets the Pacific Ocean. This is where surfmen are made. These are the crews who take boats out when no one else would even think about leaving the dock. This training is not easy. They go right into break and surf, practice capsizing drills, and learn to handle conditions that would wreck most vessels. To earn the title Surfman on the 47 Motor Lifeboat is a privilege, one reserved for the most skilled, highly trained, and fearless members of the U.S. Coast Guard. When lives are at risk offshore, it's these boats and their crews who answer the call, heading out into the worst conditions, fully aware that they are often the last and best hope for anyone in trouble on the water. All right, I'm putting on the dry suit now that everybody's got to wear on the boats. And the reason why we're going to do this now, before we go out, we're going to do a leak test. A leak test basically to check, make sure nothing's leaking, no water's coming in. It's a mandatory thing that we have to do before we get on our way. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this suited up now, and they're gonna throw this in the water right off the dock to test it out. I mean, I'm dry. All right, just did a leak test, completely dry still, all good to go. So now that we did the leak test, I'm gonna go sit inside, go over a few things, and then hopefully get out in the water here soon.
It's projected to build over the course of the day and through the night up to, I think the last update was 32 feet at 15 seconds with winds of 45 knots.
We're going to maximize some opportunities. Obviously, the weather is kicked up forecasted wise, upwards of 30 foot and winds 50 knots.
And everyone for PPE wise will be in dry suits with your type 3s, belts, helmets, and goggles. Make sure you bring extra gloves too. That wind and the rain probably gonna get soaked pretty quick.
All right, the weather just did a full 180-degree switch on us. Got pretty sporty. About to head out right now with all these guys and go take a peek and see what it looks like out there. So, go.
So if we do end up in a knockdown or a rollover, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to pop up and look for the next wave. If you find yourself in the water, don't swim to the boat like you're ready. If you find yourself in the water with somebody else, stay together, do not tether together.
that was definitely nautical. These guys are saying that it's been probably the sportiest he's ever been out in the water, at least wind-wise. And he's been in the Coast Guard for over 20 years, so that says a lot. The waves, I mean, it was just chaos. It was just stuff everywhere. I mean, it was all, but the way these guys communicated and were able to control the boat was really, really impressive. These guys were in there. The one gentleman's still going through training, and this is great training experience for them. They said this is what they're looking for. So going out there and experiencing that, and they love their job. Every single one of them are saying this is what it's all about. So I'm super jealous. We're about to get underway again, and we're lucky enough to get the helicopter to follow us. Gonna get some footage from that, and it's still pretty rough out. It's about reading 18 to 20 foot seas, kind of subsiding, but we're gonna go for it, and yeah, stay tuned for this. We're at the Coast Guard's air facility in Newport, and Drew here's about to get on his way and get some shots of us while we're in the water on the surf boats. Like I said, it's still pretty nasty out there. Hopefully we can get underway and get some killer footage by the helicopter.
This was the worst part of the storm we faced. Seas were building over 30 feet with sustained winds at 30 miles an hour. We made the call not to head outside the inlet, but we still trained while approaching it. And it showed us how unpredictable that zone could be. Unexpected breaking waves were coming in hard right at the mouth of the inlet. I'm telling you guys, this footage doesn't even come close to doing it justice. These were the biggest waves I've ever seen from a boat. Coast Guard Station Yaquina Bay has stood watch over the Oregon coast for generations. Built in 1895, it was one of the first life-saving stations built to guard what we now call the graveyard of the Pacific. From the beginning, its crews faced some of the harshest conditions in the country, with towering surf, shifting bars, and relentless Pacific storms. This station isn't just about patrols. It's a lifeline for the commercial fishing fleet that calls Newport home. Back in the day, the U.S. Life-Saving Service, what we now call the U.S. Coast Guard, those surfmen didn't have engines, radios, or GPS. All they had was strength, skill, and the unshakable sense of duty. They wore cork life jackets that were bulky, hand-stitched, and got waterlogged within minutes. But it was the best protection they had during that time. And believe it or not, when the call came, those guys actually rowed the boats out to sea. As time and technology progressed, so did the boats. During World War II, Surfmen operated from Victory ships, which are 52-foot motor lifeboats that are designed to take on the worst surf in the Pacific Northwest. With heavy steel hulls, self-righting capability, and unmatched durability, they became legends at stations like Cape Disappointment and Yaquina Bay. Only 4 were ever made, and for decades, they were the backbone of heavy weather rescue. Today, the Coast Guard operates a 47-foot motor lifeboat that is the modern workhorse of the surf rescue fleet. Introduced in the 1990s, it's designed to operate in hurricane-force winds, 30-foot seas, and 20-foot surf. Built with aluminum and designed with a deeper V hull, it's much faster, agile, and fully self-righting. The 47 motor lifeboat carries on the legacy of surfmen before us with the tools and technology to meet today's toughest challenges.
All right, I'm here with BM2 Albright. He took us out yesterday and it was pretty rough out. So every morning these guys go over and check these boats over. And so tell me a little bit about it. You guys go here first thing in the morning and go over everything.
Show up first thing in the morning. We both have deck side and engineering side. Deck side, we're gonna check pretty much all our equipment on the boats, make sure it's in good working condition, so that if we do need to go effect a rescue, we have the proper equipment to do so. The engineers, they'll check the engineering system of it.
Yeah.
They'll check the engines, the red gears, the throttles, they'll test all the stations. Probably one of the most important things they check is the emergency backup panel. So if we do have a casualty underway, they can go down there, get to the emergency backup panel that bypasses all the throttles and everything, and they can access the engines right there when we need to have it.
Cool. So we're gonna go check this one out. This one right here is the old Bravo hull, correct?
Yeah.
And this is the Charlie hull that they just got. You guys got brand new motors on here, under 300 hours, and we haven't been on this one yet, inside at least, so we're gonna go check it out.
Well, this is the aft deck. This is where, the main show goes on. In these deck boxes, we have different assorted equipment. We have our bridle lines into here that we can hook up to our tow line, come to our tow bit, and this is where we actually affect our tows. We're kind of our bread and butter here at Station Yaquina Bay is we tow those big boats that we saw the other day over there, and these boats definitely do the job for that.
Yeah.
900 feet of 3 1/4 inch tow line, it's pretty hard to break it. So if there's like a vessel on fire, say like in the bay or anything, we have our P6 pump back here, 250 gallons per minute.
Okay.
Yeah, and we can hook it up to our fire pump C-suction and everything. It's got a fire hose in here. So we have our 50-foot of fire hose, has a very nozzle on it, and we're able to actually fight fires and do what we need to do to effect that rescue. That being said, we're not out there to save property or anything like that. We're out there to save lives.
Yep.
Under certain circumstances, under the guidance of a qualified firefighter, we can fight those fires. Say if it's a bayfront fire, if it's going to cause more damage to anything or a loss of life, we are able to fight those fires. This is our open bridge. This is the primary spot that we drive from, as you saw yesterday. We normally will stand over there to drive, but in the event of emergency, or if we need to shift sides due to wind, due to conditions, we can drive from here. The instructor will usually stand right here and give guidance and whatnot, but if it calls for it, we can swivel these around. When we put boats into tow, we can swivel them around. We do what's called tow watch, and we're coming over those big swells, they're calling out if they're in step, if they're coming over the face or anything like that. But it's really nice to have those to be able to swivel around. So this guy, for example, can clip in here and here.
Okay.
He can step off and he can stay clipped in, but if he's in the seat, it's belts and helmets. So we, strap in the belts, get your helmets. If you're standing up in the cutout as you were, running into right here, and then there's assorted D-rings all throughout the boat actually. As we're transiting in heavy weather, we always try to maintain that positive control of I'm attached to the boat, I also have a hand to the boat. So if I need to do anything, this is my working hand, this is my boat hand. But I'm also clipped in. If we hit something, I'm safe.
It was really cool yesterday when you guys, you're able to switch real quick. Like you said, I mean, I think when we were coming in or you guys were switching up, or like who was running the boat, it's just by a press of a button, right?
Yep. So right here is actually your control station. It's a double tap, take your active button right there, and you can pop back and forth in between these, and you have a control station on the enclosed bridge as well that we'll go see. But it's really nice to have that in case you do have a casualty over there.
Yeah.
I'll show you in there. The buttons are actually kind of separated. So we can, if we're having problems with this control station, we can kill it and that'll be offline from the other two.
Okay.
And then we can separate them individually. But
then if this goes, then you got to go down there.
Yeah, so if both these goes, then you're going down there. If that goes, we have that emergency backup panel that's pretty much our last lifeline right there, and that's going to get us home.
All right, so those two fail, you come down here.
Come down here. This is your last attempt at throttle. Up here is where we can individually secure them.
Okay.
If we're having problems with that one for, whatnot, come down here. If this one fails, right here is our emergency backup panel. That's how this works. Click forward, and you pretty much only have your throttles forward and reverse. So what this does, it skips all the electronics and everything, goes straight to our red gears, which are down below, which basically are transmission of the boat.
Yeah.
Engaging that forward, and someone's going to be down here
just steering like that.
This number, and another guy's going to be steering with one of these jog levers here. As you can see, there's a lot of electronics here. The engineers of the boats, they know these things in and out.
You were an engineer too, right?
I was, yes. Like I told you, I was here 2019. I showed up as a non-rape, and then finally got my engineer qualification. So I got down here, started learning these boats. I had a lot of great mentors and everybody that kind of helped me through it. He's retired now, but Bill Klein, he still lives in town here. But he really showed me the ropes of the boats. That guy knows every and anything about.
And you had no prior experience to, motors or anything like that, or do you have anything?
A little bit,
yeah.
Shop class here and there.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to in the Coast Guard, they actually do a pretty good job at providing the information. You don't necessarily need to go out to school to learn everything. Most of your learning is going to be on the job, getting hands-on, tearing those engines apart. And when we had the Bravos, we had plenty of time to tear those engines apart. But with these newer boats, they're so well done, so well maintained that there's not much we have to do. We just have to do our weekly and monthly maintenance on them. That's just kind of preventative maintenance.
Yeah. When you keep up with it, the less problems you have.
Yeah.
But these guys got brand new motors on them, under 300 hours. I definitely want to go see these. I haven't gotten to see them yet.
Yeah, so this is our survivors compartment of everything. It gets its name from what it does. It's where we stick our survivors. If we need to pull somebody out of the water, we got our heater right here. We can get them strapped in so they're not rolling around. Up forward, we got blankets and everything. So if they are hypothermic or anything like that, we can wrap them up. In here as well, this is where we're going to get into our main propulsion system, basically. Kind of look here. These are the red gears I'm talking about that act as the transmissions.
Okay.
So it's a ZF transmission in here, and how it works, comes as a drive shaft out of your Cummins engine into there. It's a 2-to-1 ratio, flips around, goes right to your prop shaft. Makes it very useful to have that quick ahead to a quick astern momentum. Like Boatswain was saying, like these things are sports cars, and it's real easy to just hammer down and fly. And you got to realize how much momentum you are pushing out. And those, we're making contact with those waves, and you'll fly off them.
You'll find out fast.
Your back will know before you know. These are our brand new Cummins QSC 8.3. They do the job for sure. These are the power plant of the boat, and they get everything up and running and allow us to have that power when we need to have that power. This is that steering system, kind of the heart that I was telling you about. 18 gallons in a 20-gallon tank. In my opinion, the most important part of this boat is being able to steer, because you can utilize your power where you need to utilize your power, but if you can't get your bow around to where you need to be, then you could end up in a sticky situation.
We made a quick stop at Coast Guard Station Depot Bay, which is about 20 minutes north of Yaquina Bay. Known as the world's smallest harbor, it's also home to what they call the Hole, one of the most challenging inlets to navigate due to its narrow and rocky entrance. It was built in 1940 as an auxiliary to Station Yaquina Bay. Depot Bay's primary mission is search and rescue for commercial mariners, recreational boaters, and surfers. The station also supports environmental protection, fisheries enforcement, towing, and boating safety.
Front and center. Hey, I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to come and highlight our unit, and for your, continued strive in, boating safety and getting the message out to the boating public on, not only what we respond to from our side, but, lessons learned out on the water to kind of help prevent and make it a safer operating area for everyone. And really the interaction with the crew. I mean, you've outreached to a lot of folks, and this opportunity for them to share with their families a highlight of the station is really special, and we appreciate your time here. You did get to see, I've mentioned a couple times, every single weather pattern in a 2-day span that you would typically see out here. And with that, Department of Homeland Security, United States Coast Guard, Station Yaquina Bay, this certified that Aaron Stasiak, the qualified captain, is Pacific Northwest qualified on this day. So I'm by myself.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet.
I appreciate it. I want to say to you guys, we've gone to quite a few stations so far, and every single one we go to, I'm super impressed by how professional and welcoming everybody's been. And I thank you guys for having us. It's been a lot of fun, and keep doing what you guys are doing. I love watching it, and we're looking forward to sharing this to everybody. And just like I said, just keep doing what you're doing. It's really fun to watch. So.
My name is Chief Chris Brantley. I'm the Executive Petty Officer here at Station Yaquina Bay. I started out in Station Morro Bay as a brand new 3rd class Petty Officer. I showed up there, went through the entire process of certifying surfmen, all the way from basic, heavy weather, and surf. The whole process took about 6 years. I had the opportunity to go up to the National Motor Lifeboat School for both heavy weather and surf school. Compiled all my knowledge and skills along the ways and ended up certifying at Station Morro Bay. So Surfman is a certified boat driver to drive the 47 Motor Lifeboat to the limitations. The design limitations of that is 30-foot seas, 20-foot breaking surf, and 50 knots of wind. Aside from just being able to drive in the elements, there's a lot of leadership that goes into being a surfman, and a lot of that leadership is here at the station level, where it's day-to-day management of a duty section, really assessing the weather conditions and determining the risk mitigating factors that might be associated with operating in such extreme elements as the ones that we operate in. So the 47 is designed to be a self-righting asset. A lot of people always ask us, hey, do you guys go out there and actually go flip those things for training? That's not really anything that we try to do. The boat is designed for it. A lot of damage is incurred upon the asset, and it's pretty hazardous for the crew because we drive out in the open bridge platform. If we're in a knockdown rollover procedure or condition, the righting moment of that is usually right around 8 to 12 seconds. So I initially joined the Coast Guard to be a surfman. Really wanted to just kind of shoot for the direction of being the highest certified boat operator within the Coast Guard. And that opportunity was to be a surfman.
All right, it's our last day here at the Coast Guard Station Yaquina Bay. About to get underway one last time. A little bit different weather, hopefully get into the surf break, and go out there and take a look, see what it's like.
On the last day, the wind went offshore, the swell settled down, and it turned into a beautiful day in the surf. We headed out of the inlet in the surf and ran some training drills where the crew worked to hold the 47 in a fixed position and heading. We were hoping to catch a few breaking waves, but couldn't quite get into the best spot. It was only breaking in about 5 feet of water, and we didn't want to pull a qualified captain move trying to force it. They let me run the boat during the training, and it was really cool to learn how they handle it in different weather conditions. We stopped to do some man overboard drills, which is something they do daily. They would quickly throw a dummy over and yell out, "Man overboard." All would point in the direction where the victim was spotted, and then immediately alter your course based on where the victim is located. There are multiple scenarios that can change the tactic, and that's why these guys practice every day.
Ready to reset.
Alright, making my approach.
Alright. Speed good, track good, approaching the ball nose. Pass the first set, pass the second set, pass the third set, pass the reset, reaching on board.
Go ahead inbound now.
On our way back in, Bosun Slade asked me to dock it to get some fuel. The entire boat smiled and watched. Let's just say, I think I did a pretty damn good job.
Back up. There you go. Okay, one hand on.
I'm just used to using two.
Head on both. He's got it. He's cramming it in there like this. I don't know how it's working, but head on both real
If
quick.
you don't have to use the throttle, no. Good?
Work your way up a little bit. Good. Head on both.
All right, so we just got back. We're out in the surf practicing squaring up. So basically, when the wave comes in, you want to keep the bow towards it. And what we were doing some heavy weather turns, and it's basically dump the wherever side you're turning, dump the one forward, spin the boat around, and then once you get it spun, dump the other one in reverse, and you square up and take the wave on like that. And then we're doing a couple man overboard drills, same concept. Get around, do that heavy weather turn, get on side two, and pick the guy up. And it was fun, man. They let me drive. We had a really good time, and it's a beautiful day. Couldn't ask for anything better. All right, that wraps up our trip here at Coast Guard Station Yaquina Bay. Got to experience what it's like to be a surfman on these boats. These guys are unbelievable boat handlers. We got to experience really rough seas, which is great. That's what we came here for, wanted to see that. And hopefully next year we can come back and do it again and maybe show you guys a little bit more of the training. And once again, thank you guys for having us. It's been a real good time.